Twitter, Facebook and Google, on the hook, on the hill. Tonight, free tech megaliths were called to account in Washington, D.C. The charge against them? That they don't do enough to protect their platforms from being used by those who might want to warp American democracy.
I think you do enormous good. But your power sometimes scares me. Did China run ads in the last election cycle that tried to impact our election?
Not that I'm aware of, Senator.
Not that you're aware of. Did Turkmenistan?
No, Senator, not that I'm aware of. We have.
How about North Korea?
The answer is Facebook doesn't know. After Trump's victory, Facebook boss Mark Zuckerberg rubbished the very idea that ads on his site had snow on their boots as fake news and crazy. That was then. Now Facebook says that Russian sources placed thousands of ads that reached 126 million American users. But fixing the problem needs humans, and they don't come cheap.
Facebook, you have algorithms that do the first run and humans that it kicks to a set of humans to look at it. And I understand that you've increased the number of humans who do look at these kind of things. Can you explain the process that you have?
With respect to the sort of what I'll call the sort of particularized threat actors that are typically associated with nation states, that's a highly manual process. So we will, for example, have a threat indicator that we're tracking, and then if we see activity, that's really a highly intensive manual effort.
This is the moment when Facebook, roughly worth $500 billion, Google $700 billion and Twitter around $15 billion, face much tougher scrutiny. But why are the tech giants in trouble?
I think if there's one great takeaway already from the Russian controversy in the US, is that it's really shone a light on the way social media companies operate. The use of dark ads, the use of bots, accounts who we don't know who's behind them. And finally, all this is coming out. The way the Russians seem to have used Facebook and Twitter during the US election, it doesn't seem to be a bug in the system. It is the system. We're finally understanding just how, well, frankly, deeply manipulative these companies are, how they override all our ideas of how democracy and public space should function.
Did Russian agents buy this man's ticket to the White House? If so, is this hearing the start of a necessary revolution, bringing more scrutiny to the internet? Opinion is divided.
Companies do not give a lot of intelligence directly to U.S. investigators in a general basis. They have pledged to work more closely together in the future, but of course they don't want to set a precedent that could apply to them in other countries around the world with maybe harsher rules. It is always going to be a dance for these companies, not giving so much that their futures would be a lot more complicated.
It's a huge change. Finally, Silicon Valley has had to walk to the hill, to Capitol Hill. This is a very, very big moment where it's almost as Silicon Valley and all its ethics are on trial. Again, the public awareness that will come out of this, and that it is coming out of this, about the way these platforms spread messages, influence us, is massively important, and will, I hope, have to change the essence of how they function.
But today's hearing and yesterday's charges against 3 men in Team Trump together harden the evidence that President Trump's election victory was, in part, made in Moscow.